Hi there, welcome back, and continuing one of Damon Runyon's short stories called On Broadway, and this is called Breach of Promise, if you remember. Now, the four likely lads that have been told to go and try and find these love letters for Mr. Tuesday are just about to be on their way. We borrow a car off a friend of mine in Clinton Street, and with me driving we start for Tarrytown, which is a spot up on the Hudson River, and it is a very enjoyable ride for one and all on account of the scenery. It's the first time educated Edmund and Spanish John and little Isadore ever see the scenery along the Hudson, although they all reside on the banks of this beautiful river for several years at Ossining. Personally, I'm never in Ossining, although once I make Auburn, and once Comstock. But the scenery in these localities is nothing to speak of. We hit Tarrytown about dark and follow the main drag through the spur as Mr. Tuesday tells me, until finally we come to the spot I'm looking for, which is a little white cottage on a slope of ground above the river not far off the highway. This little white cottage is never quite a piece of ground around it and a low stone wall with a driveway from the highway to the house. And when I spot the gate of the driveway, I make a quick turn, and what happens but I run the car slap dab into a stone gate post, and the car folds up like an accordion. You see, the idea is we are figuring to make this as fast a stick-up job without any foolishness about it. Maybe we leave any parties that we come across tied up good and tight while we make a getaway, as I am greatly opposed to housebreaking or sneak jobs, as I do not consider them dignified. Furthermore, they take too much time. So I'm going to run the car right up to the front door when this stone post gets in my way. The next thing I know, I open my eyes to find myself in a strange bed, and also in a strange bedroom. And while I wake up in many a strange beds at times, I never wake up in such a strange bedroom as this. It is all very soft and dainty. The only jarring note in my surroundings is Spanish John sitting back beside the bed looking at me. Naturally, I wish to know what is what, and Spanish John says I am not snoring in the collision with the gatepost, although none of the others are hurt, and that while I'm stretched in the driveway with the blood running out of a bad gash on my noggin, who pops out of the house but a doll and an old guy who seemed to be a butler or some such, and the doll insists on them lugging me into the house and placing me in this bedroom. Then she washes the blood off me, Spanish John says, and wraps my head up and personally goes to Tarrytown to get a croaker to see if my wounds are fatal or what, while educated Edmund and little Isadore are trying to patch up the car. So Spanish John says he is sitting there to watch me until she comes back. Although, of course, I know what he really is sitting there for is to get the first search on that mean in case I do not recover. Well, while I'm thinking of all this over and over and wondering what is to be done, then pops a doll of maybe 40-odd, who is built from the ground up, but who has a nice, good-looking pan with a large smile, and behind her is a guy I can see at once is a croaker, especially as he is packing a little black bag and has a gray goatee. I never seen a nicer looking doll if you care for middle-old dolls, although I personally like them young, and when she sees me with my eyes open, she speaks as follows. "Oh," she says, "I'm glad you're not dead, you poor chap. But she says, here is Dr. Diffenwell, and he will see how badly you are injured. My name is Miss Amelia Bodkin, and this is my house, and this is my own bedroom, and I am very, very sorry you are hurt." Well, naturally, I consider this a most embarrassing situation, because here I am out to clip Miss Amelia Bodkin of her letters and her silverware, including her Paul Revere teapot, and there she is, taking care of me in first-class style, and saying she is sorry for me. But there seems to be nothing for me to say at this time, so I hold still while the croaker looks me over, and after he peeks at my noggin and gives me a good feel up and down, he states as follows. "This is a very bad cut," he says. "Ed will have to stitch up, and then he must be very quiet for a few days, otherwise," he says,
Complications may set in. It is best to move him to a hospital at once."
"But Miss Amelia Bodkin will not listen to such an idea as moving me to a hospital. Miss Amelia Bodkin says I must rest right where I am, and she will take care of me because she says I am injured on her premises by her gatepost, and it is only fair that she does something for me. In fact, from the way Miss Amelia Bodkin takes on about me being moved, I figure it's the old sex appeal, you know. Although afterwards I find out it's only because she is lonesome and nursing me will give her something to do." Well, naturally, I'm not opposing her idea because the way I look at it, I would be able to handle the situation about the letters and also the silverware very nicely as an inside job. So I try to act even worse off than I am. Although, of course, anybody who knows about this time I carry 8 slugs in my body from Broadway and 50th Street to Brooklyn will laugh very heartily at the idea of a cut on a noggin keeping me in bed. After the croaker gets through sewing me up and goes away, I tell Spanish John to take educated Edmund and little Isidore to go back to New York, but to keep in touch with me by telephone, so as I can tell them when to come back, and then I go to sleep, because I seem to be very, very tired. Well, I wake up later in the night, and I seem to have a fever, and I'm really somewhat sick, and Miss Amelia Bodkin is sitting beside my bed, swapping my noggin with a cool cloth, which feels very pleasant indeed. I'm better in the morning, and I'm able to knock over a little breakfast, which she brings to me on a tray, and I'm commencing to see where being an invalid is not so bad at that, especially when there are no coppers at your bedside every time you open your eyes asking you, "Who does it to you?" I can see Miss Amelia Bodkin gets quite a bang out of having somebody to take care of. Although, of course, if she knows who she is taking care of at this time, the chances are she will be running up the road calling for her gendarmes. It is not until after breakfast that I can get her to go and grab herself a little sleep, and while she's away sleeping, the old guy who seems to be the butler is in and out of my room every now and then to see how I'm getting along. He's a gabby old guy, and pretty soon he is telling me all about Miss Amelia Bodkin, and what he tells me is that she is the old-time sweetheart of a guy in New York who is at the head of a big business and very rich, and of course I know this guy, and he is Mr. Jabez Tuesday, although the old guy, who seems to be the butler, never mentions his name. Let's see what the butler says about this Mr. Tuesday and how Miss Bodkin reacts tomorrow. Hope you enjoyed that. Something different. Anyway, see you soon. God bless. Bye-bye.